Welcome to the Lights Everywhere podcast. We're so glad that you've joined us today. The Lights Everywhere podcast showcases individuals that have discovered their God-given purpose and are walking it out. And these are not perfect individuals. These are not individuals that have it right. They're just people just like you and me that have just keyed in to the drive within them, definitely the God-given drive, and are just working it out on a daily basis. Today I have with me Peace, Udechukwu. Peace is the Nick Center Program Director. Nick Center stands for Nurturing Inner City Kids here at the Citylight Church. And I've come to know Peace. Actually, I met her over the last 2 years, and I've just come to know so many wonderful things about her. God is just unraveling so many beautiful things about her. I know Peace as a very sweet person. She has a heart of service, which really touches me about her. I don't want to give you all the details, but she has something very interesting about her. I remember when we met, 2 years ago, and you were talking about your family. The fact that I think all your sisters have the names of the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah. Why don't you tell us more about yourself, Peace? Okay. Thanks for coming to the Lights Everywhere podcast.
Thank you, Pastor D. I really appreciate you inviting me to be on this podcast. So again, my name is Peace, and just like Pastor D said, I do come from a line of sisters, and my sisters' names are Mercy, Grace, Love, Joy, Faith, and Patience. And again, I'm Peace. I'm the middle child. So it's my dad pretty much named us, and he definitely was inspired by the fruits of the Spirit. If you would have had a boy, or if I would have had a brother, I should say, I don't know what the name would be, but
maybe the name would probably fit, right?
I know. Maybe it would be Happiness.
Unisex names.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful concept.
Thank you. And I love my sisters. So, who is Peace? I would say definitely I resemble my name. I feel like I am that peacemaker. I'm a person who likes unity. Just kind of my background is I grew up in California, and that's in San Diego. And, coming from a family of sisters, we were definitely all close, and there was a bit of a tragedy that happened within my family. I wouldn't say complete tragedy, but just a period of time when we were kind of separated. I was separated from my siblings for a period of 2 years, and so during that time it was difficult. I think during that time also is when I really built a relationship with God, and this was around I would say it was probably like 5, 6. Or maybe 6, 7, around that age. And so I just remember crying out to God every day, like, what is happening? Like, where is my family? And, feeling like there was really no answers, but at the same time still reaching out to God, still, crying out to Him. I even went through a period during that time where I was actually defiant, stealing constantly, stealing from my aunt who took me in at the time. And but thank God, I was placed with a family who was God-fearing, who would still guide me and direct me and love me regardless of what I was doing. And so I didn't go through the full period of just defiance, but I was able to really turn around and saw the appreciation of them taking me in, because things could have definitely been worse, where we all could have been in foster homes and not seen each other. So I really thank God for that period of grace, for keeping us safe. So that's, the lowly beginnings, and, once my family got reconnected, and, growing up in San Diego, then moving to Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles, I think during that time I used track and field to really cope with a lot of the things that were going on at that time, because my dad was still gone. And so using track was great, because I just ran. I love to run, and loving to run and not seeing the benefit from what that would do, I was able to go from there to college, scholarship fully paid, and again, not really understanding the grace that God had over my life, because I didn't think I was, I really thought during that period I was not really all that smart, because in my elementary years I remember failing actually first and second grade. And so but 2 weeks later, I was kind of like bumped up. So basically now finding out that it was kind of like a learning disability, but I don't claim that. I am, at my master's level now. So I thank God. And again, God's grace over my life and his favor over my life. I can't even begin to explain, how he's favored me. And so, when I talk about who peace is, I'm a person who's, like you said earlier, I love service. I love helping people. I love getting to know people for who they are. One of the things that, growing up was, what makes you tick? What drives you? What's your thing? And so that's always been my, I think, inner driving force, is getting to know people for who they are, and not really who you want them to be. And that's kind of guided me to go into education. And I think during that time I was teaching. This was after graduate school, and I was teaching and really in a place where I'm interacting with my students, and again, that driving force of, who are you and what makes you tick, and realizing a lot of the inner stuff that was going on at home, the family life, and even relating to that from my own history and my family life. And so I just, from there, it's like a mentorship. So I was also teaching, and I was also assisting as a track coach, and really taking on those dual roles, and just learning a lot about, what makes people who they are, and really self-analyzing myself as well. So just to kind of wrap it up, because I know I'm probably mumbling going on.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So today I moved from, Los Angeles to Wisconsin, and now I'm in Chicago. So people are like, when I was in Wisconsin, people were like, how did you find Wisconsin? Again, God's grace, God's favor over my life. I went through my master's program. It was completely paid for. And again, God's grace over my life. And now I'm here, and I know God has brought me to Chicago for a purpose. And I don't know if we should continue on, or
I think I'd just like to interject and say, I really love the way God took your experience, separation from your family, the people that mattered most to you, and then bringing out a passion for that to be able to connect with people. So at the early stages of your life, you were separated from people, but then God used that lack, that separation, and he turned it to a drive to connect to people.
Absolutely.
I think that's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
How God can use our pains, he can use our past, and he can just craft something wonderful, and his purpose and his desire for our lives, he can craft it out of that.
And as you say that, I don't even think I realized that until recently. It's just seeing how my past is so my present in a beautiful way. How God has really just used my experiences to be a blessing to others, and for others to see me in them, and I can see myself in them as well. In every aspect, it's not just one area, but really seeing a person for who they are, because you never know someone's story.
Right.
You never know what's behind, the smile.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress.
Exactly.
Yes. So we're going to stop right now, and we'll take a break, and we'll come back.